Let's just talk a little bit about where gold is and why it's at these levels. I guess we have uncertainty in the US about the debt ceiling, and we've got, of course, the Greek and, well, the southern European peripheral country crisis too.
Yeah. Gold is a subject that we like, and we recently published a very detailed production report on gold market. And because I think in the market, a lot of people know the demand side of the story already. We have the uncertainties globally, and we have the QE3 becoming an increasing scenario, and all sort of uncertainties. So that side is pretty well known. But what we have done recently is we look at the supply side of the story, and we count all the major gold mines under construction and see what's the production growth for the next couple of years.
That's the thing, isn't it, Yan-Chen? I mean, you've studied something like 375 miners and mining companies here, but over the last few years, we just really haven't seen much come on in terms of supply. I mean, how much has supply been growing, and how does it weigh up next to the demand side too here?
Yes. If we count all the 375 gold mines, and if the gold companies has done a pretty good job, then in the base case, we think the production growth is going to be only 3.6% per annum for the next couple of years.
And what's the demand projected to be?
And the demand, we did a pretty simplistic view on that. Even if we keep the whole demand on a flat line basis, we think the gold market is still going to be in a deficit for the next couple of years. Just given that the central banks are now back buying gold massively. And that's the other thing, because for the gold market, we talk about, say, underproduction growth and underground production growth versus the mining production growth, and they're not there. And for the above ground supply, and the central banks are now turning from net seller of gold into net buyer of gold, and that's a massive shrink.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, and we saw how many of the central banks in Europe sold off gold. But let's just talk a little bit about, well, the other side, the unwillingness perhaps to put more supply onto the market by these mining groups because they like the status quo as it is.
That's part of the issue. The other part of the issue is in our production growth study, we also look at the IRR of the gold projects right now. And it just turned out that the gold price has to be very, very high to justify building a gold mine. To give an idea, for a brownfield project, you need to talk about the gold price to be, long-term gold price to be as high as $1,400 per ounce.
That's the big barrier to entry is what you're saying here.
Exactly.
And so we're talking about, and do you see, I mean, let's have a look at your price targets here as well. Okay, let's have a look at the end of 2011, where will gold be, and where will gold be in 5 years, for instance, too?
Right. We have a separate commodity team to set the gold price assumptions here, and then basically in our base case, we are looking to gold price to reach about $2,000 by... Okay,
so that means it makes these greenfield sites viable at that point then?
By 2014, and then if in the bull case scenario, and if we just look at the one factor model driven by GDP per capita in China and India, then there is a chance that the gold price can be as high as $5,000 per ounce.
Yeah, 5,000?
Yeah, but that's by 2020.
Oh, right, okay, that's quite a call there. Yeah. So I was thinking of, well, huge amount of growth there in the price. But, okay, let's see, who's going to be buying the most gold? Is it traditionally the Indians who have the wedding season coming on, I think, in a couple of months from now, or is it going to be the Chinese?
I would say both. If you look at the gold price correlation to a number of factors, in fact, the gold price has the highest correlation to GDP per capita, or disposable income in China and India in the past 30 years, basically.